Hello and welcome back to Shoogly Shed Motors. Another episode on the XJR. Progress is marching forward. What I want to try and get done today is mounting a front mudguard. So I did buy a generic mudguard from a very popular auction site that came all the way from the Orient. This is made of, I don't know, it's like 2mm, maybe possibly even thicker aluminium. The finishing is not amazing. You might be able to tell that I did try a little experiment with this that did not work, hence why there's two big gaping holes in it. But fear not, I can weld aluminium now. So I'm going to weld these holes up first and then kind of maybe explain a little bit about how I want to go about mounting this to the XJR. No gas, is there? Shite. That took me way longer to realise that my argon's run out. Uh-oh. Well, that kind of puts the kibosh on that plan for just now, because I need to get a new bottle of argon before I can do any more welding. And I also need to clean that snot off that mudguard. Schoolboy error. Alright, in the meantime, let's talk about how I want to mount the mudguard. I did start making a sort of steel bar bent welded bracket thing, and to be honest I wasn't really happy with it, and I cut it up and I binned most of it and I deleted all the footage. It wasn't my best work, and I think I'm not entirely sure where I was going with it, so I had a bit of a rethink. I'm going to take this off in a minute, but I did like this idea and I think it has potential perhaps for future builds, but not for this one. So I'm going to ditch that. I am going to return to this fork brace that came on the bike. So this just sort of clamps between the two fork lowers there. Not a big fan of the XJR engraving here. However, if I can take this back to remove that engraving, it's just a nice sort of billet aluminium piece that can go on here, add a bit of strength and stability to the front end, and it also gives me a convenient place to think about mounting a mudguard from. So if you think about that there, and then the holy mudguard fixed somehow underneath it like that. Does that make sense? That will hopefully work quite well. So what I need to do is to think about how I'm going to mount it to the underside of here. It's fairly substantially, thick aluminium, but I'm not sure if it's thick enough really to drill and tap it to make a secure mount. So I want it to be an invisible mount as well. I don't want to be able to see how the mudguard's attached. I could just weld the mudguard to it, but I don't think I want this to be the same finish as the mudguard, therefore I'm probably going to avoid that, make it removable. So possibly some kind of aluminium block or riser under here to thicken this piece that can be drilled and tapped, that the mudguard can be bolted to. I also need to make sure that that riser is, well, it's the right depth and the right size to position the mudguard where I want it to be on the wheel. So first things first, I think I'm going to take back this XJR part on the top so that I know how much material I've got to work with, and then have a look about sizing and cutting to shape a piece of metal, a piece of aluminium that can go on the bottom, and some kind of riser block. And then when I get my argon I can start welding again. Frustrating, but hopefully it won't be long. I can get argon quite quickly, the place I get it from, so hopefully that won't hold me up too much. so that's the brace back on. Obviously I've smoothed off the top, taken the XJR engraving off it. So let's have a look at where the mudguard sits. If it was hard up against it, it's actually not too bad, it doesn't look too bad. But it's maybe a little bit too much clearance, aesthetically talking. I probably want to bring it down maybe just 10mm or so, something like that, to about there. That would probably give me plenty clearance, like stone clearance and things like that. Doesn't have to hug the wheel. I want just that little bit extra clearance, especially with these big knobbly tyres. There's a potential for them picking up stones. But yeah, I don't want it that high, it's a bit motocross for my liking. So somewhere around there. So I need to decide next if I'm going to make little round standoff boss spacer things, or if I'm going to make a little aluminium block or something of that ilk, just to bring it down. So probably need to start thinking about fabricating a little block or bosses, make my decision, and then once it's fabricated, get ready to weld it on when I get argon again. It's amazing how something as simple as running out of gas can hold up your entire blooming day. Right, my argon finally arrived. Got it hooked up to my regulator, so I'm going to stick these two bits of metal together. I'd just show you a little close-up of my aluminium welding. So it's not like stacked dimes or anything, but it is, you know, two bits of metal fused together. I went too hot, too close to this edge, and I managed to just dip it a wee bit. So what I've done is I've built it back up with some filler, and I'm going to have to sort of shape that back to kind of make that edge uniform again. But it's just part of being a beginner TIG welder, is you'll make these mistakes. But aside from that, that's not bad. That's aluminium joined to aluminium, and that's effectively, you know, that's the goal at the end of the day. And just for clarity, this is the other side. Got the vague beginnings of dimes on this side. This side was a wee bit too much filler, I think. But again, you know, we're getting there. This is a really notoriously difficult thing to do, and I'm learning. Well, there you have it. Front mudguard mounted up onto the fork brace. It is super stiff. Really chuffed with that result, actually. My aluminium welding is coming along. That looks fairly passable to me. Yeah, obviously it's all going to get finished and painted and powder coated and all the rest. So yeah, I think it's a pretty good result, and a lot better than the kind of first idea I tried out. So yeah, I'm pleased that I had another go at it, because I think ultimately the reason I didn't like the first go was just because I knew it wasn't my best work, and the whole point with this bike is it's going to be a bike for myself, and I want it to be, you know, next level. My ultimate, I don't know, like my ultimate work, like my full potential. I don't know, I can't think of the words to say it, but basically I don't want to do a job that I'm 70% happy with. I'd like to be 100% happy with it. So that's definitely ticks that box, and like I say, is way better than my first attempt at it. So yeah, I'm pleased. Anyway, I waffled on quite a bit there. Not entirely sure what I'm talking about anymore. I'm gonna love you and leave you. As usual, please do give me a like, leave me a comment, and subscribe to the Shoogly Shed channel. Next episode, not entirely sure what. Still got some fabrication-y things to do. Might have a go at tackling getting the rear wheel centralised. To do that, I've got to mount the back brake and the sprocket and align the chain, then measure what size sort of spacers need to go on either side of the hub to keep it all equal. So yeah, that's a bit of a job, but hopefully I'll be able to tackle that and film it at the same time for you. Take care. Goodbye. Can you tell I'm absolutely knackered? I don't know where my energy's gone. I've hit 30 and just gone,